Welcome back to Mexico Relocation Guide. My name is Mariana, and I want to thank Gabi and Russell for being our guests today, who live on Social Security in Morelia, Mexico. Now, Gabi felt more comfortable speaking Spanish throughout this video, so we dubbed her parts for you to have a better experience at home. Enjoy!
My name is Russ. I'm originally from Reno, Nevada, in the United States, and I moved to Morelia in 2021.
I am Gabriela. I'm from Mexico City, and I back to Mexico in
2001.
21.
We were living in Reno, and Gabi's family is in Morelia, and we decided that we wanted to get her back to her family and everything. And so when I got my opportunity to retire and everything, that's where we went. We sold everything we had and got on the airplane and came to Morelia to be with her family. I think my family is quite happy that I'm happy. I wish we could see each other and everything more, but as far as happiness and being fulfilled in my life and all that, it's a great move, and they're happy for me. No, not at all. It's probably the usual people that that are concerned about anybody moving to Mexico or something like that, but I've never had any issues or like that. My family seems to be just fine with it. I think the thing I like most about Morelia is the people, the architecture, the beauty of the city, how I've been made to feel welcome everywhere I've gone. I'm not fluent in Spanish, I'm learning, but I'm not fluent in it like that. Everybody's patient with me. Her family is wonderful, and they've all been very gracious to me. When we go out, with my broken Spanish and things like that, I mean, everybody, I don't care where I'm ordering, if I'm going to dinner or lunch or whatever, or I go to the store, I've been treated well. I've never experienced any prejudice in any way. I just think it's a beautiful, wonderful place to be. People drive crazy, but it's crazy because it's different to me, from what I was accustomed to in the United States and stuff like that. But I have no complaint whatsoever about Morelia. I'm pretty relaxed, and I just go with the flow. There's nothing I can do about it, so I might as well enjoy it. That's the way I feel about it. And I have no complaints. It's been wonderful for me.
Well, in my experience, I think a big change in Morelia and in Mexico too, because I stayed 22 years in the United States. Totally different now for me. Especially for talk, my English is very good. My Spanish too is not very good now. It's confusing for me everything now. And sometimes I feel sad because I don't know if I'm Mexican or I don't know what I am. It's hard for me now, but I love Mexico too. I love Morelia. Sometimes I miss the United States, but no a lot, because I have Ross here next to me and my family too.
My children, that's all. I love my country, but I've come to love Morelia. I have always felt safe ever since we came here. I've never been victimized or bothered by anybody in any kind of crime. I don't feel like anybody's ever taken advantage of me at the grocery store or anything like that, because I'm not from Mexico, or even though I don't speak the language fluently. As far as crime goes, yeah, crime is everywhere, and there's nothing, there's being in Mexico, and the crime is nothing new, compared to a lot of cities in the United States, and so I've never had any issue with it, and I feel safe all the time.
Yeah, I feel safe. Things happen here or in Mexico or the United States, but the neighbor is safe and nothing happened here.
The neighborhood is Del Periodista. Um, Here, the neighborhood's great. How we came to renting this house is we were staying at our niece's house next door, and we actually were leaving one day to go and look for a rental house, and I noticed that they were painting inside this house, and so I asked the guy if the house was available, and he says, "Yeah, it's for rent," and they just rented it to us on the spot. There was no problem, no issue. You know, we just gave them the money for the rent and we moved in the next day. It was amazing actually. You know, and here our niece lives directly next door, and another one of my wife's or Gabi's cousins lives directly across the street. You know, so it's kind of a family area for us. Well, I feel safe, very safe in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful house. It's different from the United States to me because everything's got a wall around it and things like that, you know. So it's different, but it's beautiful. I've never felt uncomfortable here or anything like that, and all I can do is say nice things about it. I've never had a problem.
I think this neighborhood is very quiet because compared to other places I have been, like other relatives' houses, there is a lot of activity and noise. And here, we are relatively calm. You hardly see people in the street, children, dogs, or cats. They are never around. So for me, I definitely think we are absolutely in a perfect place for our age.
One of the great things about the neighborhood is the close proximity to everything we need. From going to the farmer's market to the grocery store, Walmart, or anything like that, is almost all of it is within walking distance. And because of that, we don't have to have a car. You know, so therefore we don't have to pay car payments. We don't have to pay insurance. We don't all that kind of stuff. And you know, that makes it nice here, just to exist in this neighborhood because, you know, we don't have to. There's no struggle to do anything. We eat a lot. We eat out a lot. We go to restaurants. We go to the street taco stands, things like that. But we also eat meals at home too. Gabi's a wonderful cook. We go to the farmers market generally, or she goes to the meat market. You know, the local meat markets. Occasionally, we go to Walmart, places like that. You know, but we can. It's like I said, it's in. Virtually everything is within walking distance for us. And I have to say, Gabi does most of the time when we go shopping, stuff like that, because I have to use the cane. But you know, it's actually very convenient.
Not for me. I haven't had bad experiences because there are 3 routes here that take you to the center. All 3 take you to the center, but through different routes. So I have already learned the different routes. If I don't leave in one, I'll leave in another. I'm already going back. There's no longer the worry of getting lost or anything like that because I already know how to use the transportation here in Morelia. 10 pesos for a ride and 10 for the return. I have 2 apps, Uber and Didi. I almost always check where it's located. A little more economical, and wherever it is cheaper, I request Uber or I request Didi. And sometimes they lower the price from 4 to 5, 10 pesos from Didi to Uber. Sometimes Uber is a little cheaper than Didi. So I keep an eye on it and see which one to choose, but the service is very good as well.
Our monthly expenses are actually amazingly low as far as I'm concerned. Our monthly rent is 8,000 pesos, which is the equivalent of $400 US per month. Our power bill or electric bill is about $10 a month. $20 every 2 months. Our
Y el agua es más o menos lo mismo.
so water bill is almost the same as the electric bill. Our internet is what, $11 a month?
No, for all the service, the phone and internet and the platforms, we pay 600 pesos a month.
No, it's because we get Netflix and all that stuff. So, that's all combined. All I know is that our monthly outgo total is about $1,200 to $1,300 American dollars per month. And then and that includes our groceries. That in comparison to what we had in the United States, we had a small 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, and it was $1,500 a month just to rent it. Yeah, then everything else, the $150 power bills and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's very nice here. Trust me. My experience with medical care here in Mexico has been outstanding. The day after we rented this house, I had a stroke in the left side of my head. In fact, you can still see the piece of skull missing. I had brain surgery at the big hospital here in Morelia. I was in a coma for a month. For 2 weeks, I was in the hospital bed in the hospital. Then I came home. I had to get a hospital bed here. I had to learn everything to walk and anything that normal people have to do all the time. I learned how to walk. I learned how to use the bathroom. I had to use or learn how to do everything again. Had to learn to read. I had to learn to write. We had a nurse that came in and stayed usually all day long, most of the time, most days. I've had other nurses that came in and did blood work for me and all that at home. And it's not only has it been outstanding, the medical care at all, but it's been affordable. We've been able to pay for everything out of pocket. And yeah, it's been amazing. The doctors are wonderful. I still go once a year for a checkup, and the doctors, it's helpful. They speak English, and they're just absolutely wonderful to me. And I can't complain. I've gotten far better medical care than I ever did in the United States, and it's like I said, it's affordable. I had heart surgery just before we moved to Mexico, and I didn't have to spend in the ICU or anything like. They billed my insurance $325,000 American dollars. It cost me less than $10,000 for my brain surgery.
Very good service and excellent customer support with prompt and reliable response time and consistent. The neurologist who operated on him is one of the most renowned neurologists in the city of Morelia. In fact, they call him from the United States for neurology operations there. Very good service. And yes, we struggled because it was something that caught us off guard. Yes, it was a significant expense, a bit more than expected, but for medical attention, the cardiologist is doing very well. The neurologist has already discharged him, and we only see the cardiologist once or twice a year, and he checks him and does what needs to be done. A heart checkup and all that. And everything, fortunately, is fine. But I think the service is good. Or maybe it's because we come from a place where medical services are very, very expensive. I had to stop working to dedicate myself to Ross because it was like starting over. He was reborn, so it was difficult, but overall, I personally think the medical service is superior here than there in comparison to the United States.
The way we stay active is, first we go out on the town a lot. We go to dinner and lunches and things like that all the time. We've started teaching a couple kids English classes. Been doing really well. It's been going on for about 2 months. The kids are great, and they're really responsive to being taught. Gabi does the Spanish side of it. I do the English side of it, and including pronunciation and the enunciation of the English words. We keep busy, it's, I am retired and I don't want to, I don't want to look for another job or any side jobs or any side hustles or any of that kind of stuff. We're pretty laid back in our life, after the stroke and things like that. I mean, it's not like I can run up the street, so I have to control what I do.
He helped me with my English too, because my English is not very fluid, but I teach him Spanish and he teaches me English too. It's back to back.
I know that in Mexico, there's a lot of parties. Everybody celebrates every birthday and every holiday. And because all of her family is here, we go to a lot of that. Whether it's the adults or the kids, we go to every party. And in every party, even if you have an adult party, all the kids are always welcome. People are very family oriented. We have actually a pretty full and good life, here in Mexico. Before we ever thought about actually moving to Mexico and everything, I read all kinds of literature. I read, I watched all kinds of YouTube channels and all that about coming to Mexico and the good and bad and all that kind of stuff, and the only thing I've seen is the good. I know, and I've already had to live through it, is assimilation into the culture is priority one. You have to come and you accept the way it is here. Nobody's going to change anything for me or anything like that. And if you want to beat yourself up by being upset because it's not like the United States, it's just not. It's Mexico, and Mexico is wonderful all by itself. And I can't say enough about how much
I went to the United States in the year 2020. My English was not absolutely perfect, but I understood and comprehended it quite well because I also lacked 1 year to graduate as a bilingual secretary. So it wasn't that difficult for me.
My advice to anybody who wants to come to Mexico, Morelia, or any place else, do your research. You need to, get on the internet, look at where you want to go, research the laws, the customs, things like that. So you don't show up in a foreign country, and not know what you're doing. Try to learn at least a basic amount of the language, assimilate into it. And by all means, do not try to make where you came from into the place you came. It's not going to happen. And a lot of people, I've actually read a lot of people that it's not like the United States. So after a couple months, they leave. It's not the United States. It's not wherever else you came from. It's Mexico, and you have to accept it. You have to go with the flow and assimilate into the custom, into the culture.
And you have to accept it and embrace it fully, understanding its nuances and intricacies. You have to go with the flow and assimilate it into the client and integrate it seamlessly into the client's operations, into the culture, and into the broader cultural context. This approach is particularly effective for Americans who value adaptability and cultural sensitivity. And sometimes it seems like Americans don't want to speak Spanish. I don't know if it's as difficult for them as it is for us with English, but they seem to resist the language a little more. I say that it would definitely be extremely helpful for them, even for shopping and all that, because they are charged more. Sometimes I tell him not to talk, and I get ready, but I think just a little bit more.
Okay, well, I appreciate the opportunity for us to tell our story. It's nice to provide a positive outlook on the beautiful country that we live in now, and I'm thankful for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. We hope everything goes well.